In the last class, we had completed up to the 76th Sutra. Over here, the teacher told us how to start walking the path of devotion. So we all want to practice devotion, we all want to cultivate devotion, bhakti towards the Lord, and slowly move towards Him, to reach Him, to see Him, to merge with Him. But we should have the knowledge of what we should be doing. There are some do's, there are some don'ts, what we should do, what we should not do. So therefore, all of that will be available to us in our textbooks, in the scriptures that are related to bhakti. Therefore, in the 76th Sutra, the teacher told us, Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani. We should enter into the scriptures or the text, the holy sacred textbooks, which are talking to us about devotion. And after having listened to them, what should we do? We must come back and reflect on them. Because when we have listened, we do not know how much of it has really gone into us. Therefore, the knowledge that we have heard from the teacher will become our own knowledge only when we reflect on it. Sufficiently, we should reflect on it. Therefore, the teacher says, Manana, we should do our reflection. And as a consequence of the reflection is like churning. All the knowledge, the information that is there in our mind, we must sufficiently again and again think about it, slowly, so that we are able to assimilate it and it should become an integral part of us. Then with that conviction, therefore a conviction arises in us. We come to see very clearly what we should be doing when we want to walk the path. So therefore, afterwards, with that conviction, the teacher says we should engage ourselves in walking the path of devotion. This was in the 76th. So we are all now waiting to hear from the teacher, hear from the teacher about devotion, about bhakti. And then, yes, after listening to the teacher, we will do our reflection. And after having reflected on it, when we are convinced of what the teacher has told us, we will start walking the path. So we all wait for a good appropriate time, a muhurta. So all of us will wait. This month is not good, this year is not good, this month is not good, this fortnight is not good, this day is not good, the time is not good, Rahu Kala has come, etc. We always wait for an appropriate, conducive, favorable time, muhurta. But will that really come to us? It will never come to us. Therefore, the teacher says in the 77th Sutra, he is warning us, if you wait for a particular appropriate, favorable circumstance and environment in which we will start walking the spiritual path, he says it may never come. And therefore, what should we do? We should start walking the path right away, wherever we are. So therefore, in the 77th Sutra, the teacher says, Sukha, Dukkha, Icha, Labadi, Tyakte, Kale, Pratikshya-mane, Kshanardhamapi, Vyartham, Na Neyam. So warning given to us. So we all wait for a favorable time. Whether we are in good times or bad times, we wait for a favorable time. We always say when it is very sad, sorrowful, some tragedy has happened, then say no, this is not the right time for us to walk the spiritual path, to enter into spirituality. I will wait for an appropriate time. All this should move away from me. The grief, the sorrow, the tragedy. So we wait for a favorable time. What about good time? Good times we are in a celebration mode. So this we are celebrating, that we are celebrating. There is a happy function, an occasion at home. And therefore we are all engaged in it. It's very happy, joyous mood in ourselves and in the home, but there is no time for spirituality there. We have to do shopping, we have to buy this, we have to do this, we have to make some sweets. It goes on and on and on. So whether it is good times or whether it is bad time, where is the time for us to sit and think of the Lord? So therefore the teacher says, Sukha, Dukkha. It may be good, it may not be good. The time, the circumstance, the environment. It may be a joyous occasion or it may be a tragic occasion. where we are in pain, sorrow, grief. Sukha may be there or dukkha may be there. Ichha means a desire. These desires are there in my life. Very powerful desires. We feel unless and until we fulfill them, nothing else will come into our mind. We are so preoccupied with our desires. So let those desires all get exhausted and fulfilled. Then I will be totally free to think of the Lord. So Ichha, Labha, profit. Profit means it can be profit, it can be the other way around, loss also. So much of profit. We hit the ceiling. We are on the 9th cloud. This has happened. This has become favorable to me. I got this. So we are again in a celebrating mood over there. So profit, Adi, etc. The teacher said. So Sukha, Dukkha, Ichha, Labha, etc. Tyakte Kale, waiting for a time. Kala means time. Waiting for a time when all these are not there is futile. We are waiting in vain. Because they come and go in our lives. All the opposite. Sukha means dukkha also. Desire, fulfillment of desire. Once we fulfill it, another few desires will be there. So there is no completely an exhaustion of desires in us at all. And also profit. Profit now comes, then again loss comes, then again profit comes. So it's all up and down, up and down, up and down in our lives. It's like somebody waiting on the seashore to take a sea bath. And why have you still not taken a sea bath over there? No, I want the waves to subside. The waves will never subside. And every wave has got a lower portion and an upper portion. We call it as a crest and a trough. There is a hollow portion and then the waters rise up also. So a wave is made up of both the parts. They come and go, they come and go. It will never ever stop. So if we are waiting for the waves to subside to take a sea bath, we will never be able to take a bath in the sea at all. Similarly, we are waiting over here to start practicing our bhakti, leave alone practicing, to start getting connected with knowledge about devotion, about bhakti, and we are waiting for the right time. So if we start waiting, the teacher says it will never ever come in our lives. Pratiksha mane, waiting for a time when tyakte, when all of these go away. Waiting for an appropriate, favorable time when all these things are not there in our lives. It is just not possible at all. We are waiting in vain. Therefore, what should we do? The teacher is telling us, kshanardhamapi vyartam na neyam. We should not waste. Vyartha means to waste. We should never ever waste. Vyartam na neyam, should not be wasted. What should not be wasted? Kshanardhamapi. Kshana means moment. Kshanardha means even half a second should not be wasted. 1 second itself is so difficult for us to grasp. It just comes and goes. The teacher says over here, not even 1/1,000,000th of a second we should waste in our life, waiting for an ideal situation in our life to practice our devotion or to practice our meditation. It can be anything. We are waiting in vain because we are in this world, in the space-time world, in this relativistic space-time world. Everything keeps changing. Sukha comes and goes, dukkha comes and goes, profit comes and goes, loss comes and goes, health comes and goes, health and ill health, victory and defeat will come and go, heat and cold will come and go. Where will we get a favorable, conducive environment and a situation? An ideal situation is what we are all waiting for. That is why we postpone things. Children also will postpone. Why don't you start studying for the exam? Not now. So we are also children on the spiritual path. So we always say, not now. I'm waiting for a better time. Why now this is happening to me, or now that is happening to me? I'm too joyous. I'm in such a joyous mode. Let me come down a little. And the next moment, very tragic, full of pain, full of grief. I'm waiting for that to go away. So therefore the teacher says, never ever should we wait for an ideal situation, circumstance, it will never come to us at all. Waiting for all these things to go away from us, all these not to trouble us. What all should not be troubling us? Sukha, dukkha, ichcha, labha, ityadi. So waiting for a time when all of them are not there is in vain. So don't wait for that, is what he is saying. Then what should we do? Start immediately thinking of the Lord. Even half a minute we should not waste, is what Narada is telling all of us. Kshanardamapi vyartam na neyam. Don't waste even half a second. We don't need to worry about the outer circumstance. Let anything be happening outside of us. Let anything be happening to our physical body. We can think of the Lord. So, is it so difficult for us to say Krishna Krishna or Rama Rama, full of love, Shiva Shiva, full of love? Where is the question of good place, suitable, appropriate time, a favorable environment? Let the environment be anything. Let the place be anywhere. Let the time be whatever it is. Why can't we think of the Lord? There are some beautiful Devarnamas and Kirtan songs. Ipude Shri Hari Ani Chintinchu Manasa. Ipude means right now think of the Lord. Because afterwards we never know whether we will be able to think of Him. Now is the right time. A little bit comfortable we are, some good sense in us. Think of the Lord. Is it so difficult for us? Dasuru says, to say Hari Hari, is it so difficult? It's very easy to say Hari or to say Hara or to say Rama or to say Krishna or to any of our deities. So therefore don't waste even half a moment, is what the teacher is saying. Waiting for a good time where all these things will not be there in our life. All these things will be there up to the throat, up to the nose in our lives. But still we should pursue whatever we are supposed to be pursuing. And what is it? Our invoking the Lord. How will we invoke the Lord? With our devotion. A very beautiful example for this is Vasudeva crossing the Yamuna when she is in flood. Krishna has just been born and he is shifting him from Mathura to Gokula. So he goes out. The Lord has told him, you have to go now. Take me across Yamuna. Leave me in Nandagopal's house and bring back the girl child. He is not waiting for a favorable situation there at all. He doesn't tell the Lord, look, I am all tight, chained up. The prison doors are all locked. There are security people outside. It's night time. It's raining. How will I make my way in the dark, in the rain, from Mathura to Gokula? He doesn't wait for an appropriate time at all. He just starts. He says, okay. The moment he says, okay, he has surrendered onto the Lord. Everything falls into place. The security people fall off to sleep. The prison doors open. The bolts open. The chains snap. And he is freely able to walk. Starting from Mathura up to Gokula. And once he is outside, it's raining. He has to cross the river which is in floods. The waters are rising. The waters are rising. The waters of Yamuna rising represents our Sukha, Dukkha, Ichcha, Labha, Ityadi. So if he were to stand over there on the banks of the river and say, I will wait for an appropriate time when the rains will stop, when the waters will go down, and then I am going to cross the river, it would have been a waste of all effort. Right now he has to do whatever he has to do. Therefore he starts walking. The waters will come up, but still we never see Vasudeva putting a back step. Slowly and surely he is crossing the river. So everything becomes very, very conducive and favorable. It's not easy, but still he made it. So somewhere if we leave everything onto the Lord and right now, here and now, start invoking Him, things will fall into place in our lives also, is what the teacher is telling us over here. And again, so we have started, we have decided to walk the spiritual path, the path of bhakti, irrespective of what the place is, what the time is, what the situation is. if we start walking, still sometimes we feel we would not have made sufficient progress. Why? We have not changed within ourselves. What are the values that we have in us right now? Are they positive or are they negative? Do we have good values in us? Or are we all living the life of an asura or a rakshasa? Rakshasatva is there in us. Asuratva is there in us. If all the bad traits are there in us, the negative qualities are there in us, even if we want to wish to walk the path of spirituality, we won't be able to progress at all. Even a little, we will not be able to progress. So therefore, what should we do? Character has to be formed in us. We have to build up our character very nicely. What should we do for that? In the 78th Sutra, the teacher tells us, Ahimsa, Satya, Shaucha, Daya, Astikyam, etc. Adi, Charitryani, Paripalaniyani. Paripalaniyani means it should be cultivated. What should be cultivated in us? Charitra, character should be cultivated in us. Right now, how our character is, right now, how our conduct is at the physical level, mental level, and this intellectual level. So, with so much of Rakshasic qualities in us, Asuric qualities in us, Asura Sampat and Daiva Sampat, Krishna talks about it in the 16th chapter. So, if there are so much, if we have in us so much of Asuric qualities, we will not be able to successfully progress at all. Therefore, what should we do? Cultivate in us the divine estate. Krishna calls the values as wealth. Daiva Sampat, he says. Sampat means wealth. What wealth should we cultivate in us? It's not just the materialistic outside wealth. Property, bank balance, etc. That is materialistic wealth, outside wealth. It comes and goes in our life. The permanent wealth that we have to cultivate within us, he calls it as Daivi Sampat. Adi Shankara calls it as Lakshmi Sampat. So values, 12th chapter, 13th chapter, 16th chapter, and afterwards also Sattvic type, Rajasic type, Tamasic type. Value system has been so beautifully elaborated for us in the Bhagavad Gita. What qualities we must cultivate in us? Character has to be strong. We have to build a very, very strong, positive, good character in us. Charitryani is the word used over here. So a few qualities given over here. Krishna calls the qualities in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna calls the qualities as Dharma. If these qualities are there, we are automatically a dharmic person. We are automatically a righteous person. We will always walk the right path. So instead of calling it as values, he calls the values as Dharma. In the 13th chapter, he calls the values. There are 20 values given in the 13th chapter. 12, there are 30 plus qualities. In the 13th chapter, he calls the qualities as Jnana. Qualities are different, values are different, knowledge is different for us. So he doesn't call them as qualities or values. He calls them as Jnana itself, in the sense, if these qualities are there in us, automatically knowledge becomes easy for us. Bhakti becomes very easy for us. Because our inner equipment will become very, very pure, subtle, refined. So therefore, qualities are a must. What qualities should we cultivate within us? Like I already said, Gita deals with it elaborately. Narada is talking about a few over here. Ahimsa, Satya, Shaucha, Daya, Astikyam. 5 of them have been enumerated here. Even if one of them comes to us, all the others will also come into us. So ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-injury. Himsa means violence. The first of the virtues that Narada has indicated over here is ahimsa. Himsa, like I already did mention, is violence. Ahimsa means non-violence. We are not just talking about non-violence at the physical level. We may never ever hurt anyone. We don't even hurt a mosquito. So non-injury, non-violence. But we can be very, very violent at the mental level. At the intellectual level, we can have destructive ideas and ideologies in us, which makes us rakshasic in nature. That also is himsa only. So ahimsa we have to cultivate within us. So if we cultivate non-violence at the mental level, automatically at the physical level it will come. It just doesn't mean that we don't raise our hand to do anything. It doesn't mean that at all. Non-violence is to be practiced at the mental level. Why should we practice ahimsa? Violence is like an acid. Injury, hurting somebody is like putting acid over there. We know what happens when we put acid on any surface, a very, very sensitive surface. It can be a cloth, it can be paper, it can be anything. If we put a drop of concentrated acid on it, the whole thing will get corroded, burnt over there. Similarly, our mind is so subtle and so delicate. If we have violent thoughts in us, hurtful thoughts in us, leave alone harming somebody else with our thoughts or with our words or with our activities, first it will corrode our own mind. It's like we have acid in our mind. Mind is so delicate. So what will the acid do to the mind? It will completely corrode it. And with that corroded mind, we are interacting in the world outside. So therefore, words will be destructive, words will be harmful. We can destroy a person even with words. We can destroy a person with looks. They say a look can kill a person. Just a look, how we look at a person. So violence doesn't always mean raising the hand and beating somebody or going for a war. It doesn't mean that at all. So at all levels, physical, mental and intellectual, we should practice non-violence. Then the mind in us will be very, very healthy. A healthy mind is essential for us to progress in our lives, whether it is materialistic or whether it is spiritual. Himsa is like acid, which will completely corrode and spoil the mind. Therefore, ahimsa should be practiced. Satya just doesn't mean saying whatever we are saying. Supposing we find a person coming in front of us, physically challenged. I should speak the truth, therefore we can't say, oh, you physically challenged person. Why did you say that? The other person will get hurt. Why did you say that? I'm being honest, we may say. Justify ourselves. She is physically challenged, therefore I called her as physically challenged. It doesn't mean that at all. Satya has to be practiced again at the physical level, mental level and at the intellectual level. Whatever convictions we have at the intellectual level, ideas, ideologies, first we must get convinced of them. And first of all, the ideas and the ideologies should be constructive, wholesome, good ideas and ideologies. Not like that which was entertained by Kamsa and Ravana and Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So once that conviction comes to us, that should flow out of us in the form of thoughts, in the form of words and in the form of actions. Which means all our equipment should align themselves perfectly. So integration. So Satya will make sure that we are an integrated, wholesome personality. If Satyatva is not there in us, honesty is not there in us, the intellect has got something in it, some conviction, some ideas, some ideologies. Temptation is too much in front of us. What will the mind do? It will not listen to the intellect. It will tell the body to do whatever it wants, temptation, compromise. So therefore, we become a disintegrated personality. Intellect says something, mind says something else, body does something else. So we are broken into three different personalities. Instead of being one whole, wholesome, healthy, integrated personality. Satya helps us to integrate ourselves at all levels of our personality. So Satyatva should be there. Shaucha means cleanliness. Cleanliness outside of us and cleanliness within ourselves. So cleanliness takes care of discipline also. If discipline is not there, no cleanliness. If cleanliness is not there, no discipline. So in a larger perspective, it represents discipline for us. Purity, cleanliness in our environment, starting from how our wardrobe is, how our room is, how we have made our bed, how we eat. Some of us, when we eat, whether we are eating our lunch or dinner or breakfast, half the food is outside. We are dirtying the whole place over there, even while cooking. Why can't we do things neatly? So much of comforts we have. It is not like those days where they used to use firewood and the whole mechanism of cooking was so different. So much of comforts we have. Why don't we keep things clean? Keeping ourselves clean physically. Mind should be clean, pure. Clean of what? Clean of all the clutter in it. All the negativity, the negative thoughts, the hurting thoughts. So therefore, Shaucha means cleanliness. Cleanliness at all levels. Daya means compassion. Daya doesn't mean, okay, I forgive you. Daya is we extending ourselves to include and incorporate all things and beings in our life, into ourselves. That is really called as compassion, daya. Come what may, irrespective of whatever the thing is, whoever the person is, we should be able to extend ourselves and include everybody in our prayers. Include everybody as though it's an extended family. In the 7th chapter, when Krishna is telling Arjuna that there are 4 types of bhaktas, 4 different types of devotees, he acknowledges, he says Jnani is the best devotee. And he says why? He is the one who considers everything and every being as Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Such a Mahatma is very rare, Krishna says over there. Means everything and every being is none other than my Lord himself in a different form. So all things are Bhagavan in a different form. All the people in front of us are Bhagavan himself in a different form, irrespective of what they are doing. They may be doing right, they may be doing wrong. We are not justifying the wrong that they are doing. But whatever they are doing because of Bhagavan's presence in them. So therefore, we consider all things and all beings as an expression of the Lord. Therefore, we wish everybody well. That's what daya means over there. Never ever to curse a person. Never ever to be negative. Not that we should go around blessing everybody, and it doesn't mean, or refrain from just cursing. It's not just the word meaning there. It's just a capacity in us to wish for everybody's welfare and everybody's well-being, whether we know them or whether we do not know them, whether these things are favorable to me or these things are not favorable to me. It's just that we wish for the welfare and well-being of all of Bhagavan's creation. That is what is called as daya, compassion. Our masters have it. How much do they have? We say daya samudra. They are an ocean of compassion. Bhagavan is an ocean of compassion. So he expects also to become an ocean of compassion. So daya, astikyam means to believe in something higher. Whether we believe in the Lord with form, with name, saguna, or whether we want to adore him and invoke him as the nameless, the formless, it just doesn't matter. But some faith in the higher. Without the higher, where would we all be? Who is the one who is maintaining the breathing in and the breathing out? We are all sitting for a satsang, hearing and talking. We are not engaged in, we don't say, I am involved in making sure that air goes inside and air goes outside. We are not doing it consciously at all. Some higher power is there, supremos, which we can't comprehend, which we can't apprehend, which is taking care of so many things. Starting from our breathing in and breathing out, our winking the eye. If we sit for a few, not even for a few seconds without winking, it hurts the eye. So somebody is there looking after that. Somebody is there looking after our food that we have put into our stomach. The food is getting digested. We are not sitting over there and very, very busily digesting the food that we have put in, that we just now ate. Something is there higher. Yes, we cannot see it, we can't comprehend it, we can't apprehend it. It's not available for our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. But just because that power is not available for our sense organs, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It exists. It's not only seeing is believing. So therefore there exists a higher power, a supreme power, which is looking after the entire universe. Who makes the seasons come and go? Starting from there onwards, the entire solar system, everything moving about its axis, around the sun, everything so beautifully happening over there. It's the cosmos, at the cosmic level. Sure, there is a higher supremest power which is looking after all of that. We do not know, but yes, it is there. Therefore, we invoke it. So therefore, faith in the Lord. If that faith is not there in the Lord, we will slowly lose faith in ourselves also. And once we lose faith in the Lord and we subsequently lose faith in ourselves, we are of no use to the world outside, to our own family, neither to ourselves also. So therefore the teacher says, so these characteristics must be developed in us, consciously in us. Ahimsa, Satya, Shaucha, Daya, Astikyam, Adi, etc. All these characteristics must be consistently cultivated within us. And then we must engage in walking the path of devotion. So in the 79th Sutra over here, the teacher tells us, Sarvada Sarvabhavena Nischintyaihi Bhagavan Eva Bhajaniyaha. So once we have cultivated all these characteristics in us, the good qualities in us, that's starting from the 12th chapter onwards in the Gita, we come across all qualities lined up over there. If these qualities are not there in us, if these values are not there in us, then it becomes very difficult for us to walk the path of spirituality. Not only the path of spirituality, qualities are not there, good conduct is not there, good character is not there, we become useless to be even called as a good citizen of the country, a good family member. Why? No good qualities. So therefore qualities are a must, values are a must in us. Once these values are all cultivated in us, nurtured and nourished in us, then the teacher says, Sarvada. Sarvada means always. Sarva Bhavena. Sarva Bhavena means with all aspects of our personality. Physical level, at the physical level, at the mental level, at the intellectual level also. Sometimes mechanically we are doing the puja. Flowers are being offered to the Lord. Where is our mind? Mind is in the kitchen. Because we have put the cooker on the stove over there. And we want to count the whistles now. So our attention is not on the puja that we are doing. Our attention is in the kitchen, on the cooker that is there on the stove. So the Dasaru very nicely says, Mane bagilina chinte. We have gone for a yatra. Where have we gone? Badri, Kedar we have gone. All the way. Nowadays it's easy. Earlier days it used to take so much of time. The travel, it was a long journey. Nowadays in the flight we very easily reach those destinations. So we've gone all the way to Badrika or Kedar or wherever, Rameshwaram or Madurai. Yatrege hodaru, mane bagilina chinte. We are there taking a dip in the Ganga, or we are walking into the sacred sanctum of the Lord. Where is our mind? Mind is on the mane bagilu, on the door. Did I close the door properly? Did I double latch it? Did I close all the windows properly and pull the curtains? Oh, I think I did not pull this curtain, did not draw this curtain. Maybe somebody can peep inside and see that nobody is there. They've gone on a long, holiday. So where is our mind? Mind is not on the Lord. Physically we are in Badri or Kedar, so many miles away. Mind is at home. So Sarva Bhavena means all aspects of our personality. Where the body is, mind should be there, intellect also should be there. Once we have memorized the Vishnu Sahasranama or the Lalita Sahasranama, we can say it, we can chant. And when we are chanting, whatever it is, Lalita Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama, Hanuman Chalis, or the Mahalakshmi Ashtaka, it can be anything. We can just, because we have memorized it, it just comes. The flow will be there. But where is our mind? Mind is somewhere else. Mind is not in the chanting. Therefore, the teacher says over here, both. Sarvada means always. Always means at all times, in all conditions, in all places. So wherever we are, we can think of the Lord. Should we? Yes, we should think of the Lord. Whatever we are doing, 100% of the mind is not needed for us to do all these worldly things. So therefore, yes, we continue to do our day-to-day activities, but then we keep the Lord also over there. Thoughts on Him, thoughts of the Lord in our mind, in the background. And yet we continue to perform our day-to-day activities. So therefore, at all times, in all conditions, in all places, that's the meaning of Sarvadha. Dasaru says, Narajanma bandaga nalige iruvaga krishnayana bharade. So Sarvada, he says, any occasion is okay. Any environment is okay. Mane olagadaru omme, horagadaru omme. Whether you are inside the house or whether you are outside the house, take the Lord's name. Morning you are getting up, you are stretching yourself, take the Lord's name and stretch. You have eaten too much and therefore you are belching, take the Lord's name and belch, he says. Is it so difficult for us to take the Lord's name? Normally we say Ayyoyo for everything. Ayyoyo doesn't have any meaning at all. Neither when we greet a person we say hi. And when the person is leaving or we are leaving we say bye. Hi, bye doesn't have any meaning. Our hello also doesn't have any meaning. Ayyoyo doesn't have any meaning, but we have got used to it. So instead of saying Ayyoyo or instead of saying hi, bye, in our tradition we bring the Lord's name over there. Hari Om, Jai Shri Krishna, Ram Rama, Shiva Shiva. So instead of saying Ayyoyo, we can say Shiva Shiva, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna. Should we always tell it only when everything is all right? No. Anything is fine. Take the Lord's name. So that's the meaning of Sarvada. Sarva Bhavena. Body, mind, intellect well integrated. We should be there 100% in whatever we are doing. Whether we are praying in the puja room or in the temple, or we have gone for a yatra, Badri, Kedar, Rameshwaram, etc. But Krishna has told us in the Bhagavad Gita, all work, karma, you can convert it into a yajna, you can convert it into a worship. Puja we can convert it. Therefore, there also, Sarva Bhavena. Whatever we are doing, we just bring the Lord into our lives. Why should we alone go and cook over there? Boring it is. I don't have any company. Lord says, you take me and go. I am the best company. And He will never say, I am bored of you. Somebody else may say, every day, why do you call me when you go to the kitchen and cook? It's so boring. I don't want to be there around you. Give me my freedom. But Lord will never say. He is waiting for all of us to call Him. Thing is, we don't call Him. If we call Him, He'll come running, I believe. He's waiting for all of us to call Him. So instead of going to the kitchen alone and cooking over there, so boring, take Him also to the kitchen. We can start a beautiful conversation with Him, silently. Nobody need hear it also. So 24 into 7, 365 days, we can always keep chatting with him. How we chat on the WhatsApp, Facebook, unnecessarily we are doing all of that, waste of time. Why don't we connect with the Lord? So Sarva Bhavena there. I am cooking, we tell the Lord, come, you also come with me. Why? He has already told us in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, I only do everything. Where are you to cook? I cook, he says. So we hand over everything on to him. That is the meaning of becoming an empty instrument in his hand. So two of us are there. Actually it's one. But now let us make it two. Because Advaita is little difficult for us. So we bring the Lord also. And we can start a conversation with him. So beautiful it can be. Gurudev used to tell us, how much of water should I add to the sambar? Ask him. He's just behind your shoulder. It's like we are learning cooking. We have the master chef. Mother it can be, mother-in-law it can be, whoever it is who knows. They just stand behind us and say, I will tell you, you do. So Bhagavan is the master chef. He is the master of everything. So make him stand behind us and then say how much of water to put. He will tell us. That much only we will. Not more, not less. And then slowly all the ingredients. If we start connecting with him and asking him, he will tell us what to do. How much to put. Gurudev used to say, when you are putting the salt into sambar, ask him. So you have taken a little salt in your hand. In Kannada we say kai alate. Earlier days they never used to use the spoon. So you have taken up some salt in your hand, just turn behind and ask him, how much should I put? And start putting and keep looking at him behind. He'll nod his head and after some time he'll say no. Horizontally he will nod his head. 2 or 3 grains of salt are still remaining in your hand. If you put that, it will become extra. Put it back into the dabba. We call it a sixth sense. It is not the sixth sense. It is something in us telling us. What is telling us? Or who is telling us? Something inside only is telling us. Who is inside of us? Bhagavan alone is there inside of us. So anything we can connect with him like that. Cooking, of course our puja that we are doing, anything, just when we are leaving our house, we just go ourselves. We take a bag, shopping bag also is there, we want to, the shopping list is there, and we say, I am going. And what do we say? Bhagavan, please look after my house. Especially when we go on a holiday, long holiday, 1 week, 15 days, yatra we have gone, or we have gone for a picnic. We are so worried about our house. So therefore we say, Bhagavan, I am going, please look after my house. So Gurudev used to say, why do you leave him in the house and you go alone? He's not your security man. So therefore, do one thing, ask him to come with you. It's such a nice thought. That is the meaning of Sarvada, Sarva Bhavena. So just say, come, let's go. Where? Shopping. Let's go. Where? Walking. In the park. Ask him to come with you. But somebody is needed to look after my house. He is all pervading. He will look after your house wherever he is. So why do you doubt him? But just say, come. It's a very nice feeling. When we are crossing the threshold of our main door and going out. Who is coming with us? Bhagavan is coming with us. It's such a nice, secure feeling. Bhagavan, you're coming with me? He says, yes. Both of us are going out now. And when we come back also, both of us enter the house. In the meantime, did he look after our house and the people inside? Of course, he is looked after. Why? Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. If that much we bring the Lord into our life, our yoga and kshema become his responsibility. That's the meaning, sarvada, sarva bhavein. For that, the bhavana is such a beautiful Sanskrit word. It's got no equivalent, unfortunately, in English. So the best translation is attitude. It's beyond attitude. So sarva bhavena. The bhava is such, it can't be translated. We can't say attitude, we can't say mood. Because when we say mood, it only is mind. But all of our personality is included over there. So sarvada, sarva bhavena, nischintaihi, very important. Free yourself from all anxieties. Oh, did I do that? Did I do this? Who will look after my house? Who will look after this? What will happen? All anxieties, just drop them. Anugalavu chinte jivakke, Dasaru says. For everything, Dasaru's Devarnama is there. All that is there in the Upanishads and the Gita, he's put them all down in simplified Kannada Devarnamas. That is why all of his works, Purandara Dasaru's works, we call it as Purandara Upanishad. So he says, Anugalavu Chinte Jivakke. Constantly for us, this chinta is there or that chinta is there. Worry, anxiety, restlessness. Now we are up, now we are down. So therefore, Anugalavu, for anything, yes, always anxiety will be there. Purandara Vittalana Chinte Vande Nischinte, he says. But the moment you think of the Lord, here also we were thinking only of things and beings. But thinking of things and beings is worrying and brooding. It doesn't help. It will make us more and more anxious, more and more restless, more and more agitated. But the same thinking process, if we turn it towards the Lord, it becomes contemplating, it becomes invoking Him. Automatically all of these will go. No anxiety, no agitation, no restlessness. Nischinte. Purandara Vittalana Chinte Vande Nischinte, he said. So once we have in Sarvada, always, Sarva Bhavena, all and in our all-out mood and all-out attitude, if we connect with, we should connect with the Lord. How can we connect? We just drop whatever was there right now. Free ourselves from all mental anxieties. We should free ourselves from all mental anxieties. And then Bhagavan Eva Bhajaniyaha. Eva means only and only and only the Lord. Not the Lord and anything materialistic also. I'm thinking of the Lord, but I'm thinking of my home also, where in Badri. When we are face to face with the Lord, we only think of Him and Him and Him. There should be no otherness there at all. Ananya. Therefore, Bhagavan Eva Bhajaniyaha. To invoke the Lord, to worship Him. In any form it can. We should do it, and that can happen only when we have given up all our mental anxieties. Nischintaihi Bhagavan Eva Bhajaniyaha. We should worship the Lord, or we should invoke Him, is what the teacher is telling us in the 79th Sutra. Once we start turning ourselves, turning our mind's attention towards the Lord, slowly, after having cultivated all the good qualities, after having given up all the negativities, the bad company, unnecessary arguments, and getting into unnecessary debate, all that the teacher had told us to drop all of that. With all out invoking the Lord, which is what Sarvada and Sarva Bhavena means. If we invoke the Lord and the Lord alone, after having dropped all our unnecessary regrets, anxieties, etc., what will happen to us? We want to know what will happen to us. Will we really gain what we wanted to gain? What is the goal over here? Bhagavad Sakshatkara. So will that really happen to us? The teacher says, yes, it will happen. In Sutra 80, he says, Sakirtyamanaha Shigram Eva Avirbhavati Anubhavayati Cha Bhaktan. A devotee sure, he says, Saha means the Lord, he. Who is he? The Lord. So when we Kirtyamanaha, when we invoke the Lord, when we pray to Him, when we worship Him, what will happen to us? Shigra means quickly. The quickly in quotes. How quickly the Lord will come to us is all a question of how we do kirtan of Him or how we do bhajana of Him. Again, bhajana and kirtana doesn't mean harmonium, tabla and tala. How well we connect with the Lord. We should connect with Him like how the gopis connected, how Shabari connected, how Draupadi connected, how Dhruva connected, how Prahalada connected. That's the way we should connect with the Lord. How Ambarisha connect, Vibhishana, all our devotees, all the Lord's devotees. So therefore, if we are able to consistently, sincerely, constantly invoke the Lord as we should invoke the Lord, Narada promises us He says to such bhaktas, Shigrameva, quickly, what will happen? Avirbhavati. Avirbhavati means to reveal. Who will reveal himself to the bhakta? Bhagavan will come and reveal himself to the bhakta. Avirbhavati anubhavayati, and makes the devotee realize him. Again, it can be Saguna, it can be Nirguna also. Saguna means Ishvara Darshana, Bhagavad Darshan, Bhagavad Sakshatka. Dasaru says, I saw Krishna, in front of me I saw him dancing. Krishna Murti Kanna Munde. So that is Saguna over there. Will that happen? Yes, that also will happen. Where the devotee is face to face with the Lord, over there he sees him, Ishvara Darshana or Lord's Darshan. The next higher level is to merge oneself with the Lord himself. So there the devotee is not separate from the Lord, the devotee and the Lord become one over there. Jivatma and Paramatma will become one. So therefore, Anubhavayati means, Anubhava means to experience. To experience that God state of consciousness. To experience that state of enlightenment. To experience that state of Jivan Mukti. Will that happen? Narada says, Shigrameva. Quickly it will happen. Once we turn towards the Lord, it becomes His responsibility. That's why they say, once we put one step towards the Lord, He doesn't put one step towards us, I believe. He puts 10 steps towards us. So if we put 2 steps, He will put 20 steps towards us. So we are moving towards Him. He moves faster towards us. So therefore, sure enough, again that word Shigra, it all depends on how we are connecting with the Lord. How sincerely, with what bhava we are connecting with the Lord. So therefore, if we are able to do it, Shigrame, quickly, the Lord will sure reveal Himself to us. And finally, we will be able to experience Him. Experience Him outside of us in the form of a darshan of the Lord, His auspicious darshan, or finally we will merge with Him to become one with Him, is what the 80th Sutra says. The remaining sutras 81, 82, 83 and 84, there are 4 more sutras. We will take them up in the next class.